Hey, how you doing, guys? Welcome back to another video, another day, another beautiful day, I hope, for you guys, and definitely is for me, even though it's nighttime, so maybe it's not a beautiful day, but welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to listen to a little bit of the Blue Nile. We're going to take our hats off, and let's listen to a Walk Across the Rooftops. This is the first track on their album of the same name, which was released in 1984. Blue Nile. I've already heard Hats. That's an album that I listened to a long time ago on my own, and I love that album. We've listened to Tinseltown in the Rain. Let's just listen to a little bit of Walk on Across the Rooftops, because you guys have been asking a little bit more from the Blue Nile, and I'm happy to go ahead and sail down the Nile. Speaking of across the rooftops, did you guys ever see those videos of like the urban stuntmen that would like do parkour and free running on the rooftops, and they jump from building to building and stuff like that? Listen, some of those videos like make me nauseous. There was a time a long time ago, after Justin saw the James Bond movie Casino Royale, and they had that little parkour chase in the opening, I was like, man, I really want to do that. Then I realized, nah, I don't want to do that. Anyways, thank you guys for being here. Let's go ahead and listen to some good music. I hope you're having a wonderful one. This is a Walk Across the Rooftops. Maybe that's what I should be doing, walking across the rooftops, not be jumping, by the Blue Nile.
I walk across the rooftop. I follow broken threads of white rags falling slowly down. Flags caught on the fences. I am in love. I am in love with you. I am in love. I am in love with you. I walk across the rooftop, the jangle of St. Stephen's bells, the telephones that ring all night, incommunicado. I am in love. I am in love with you. I am in love. I am in love with you. The traffic lights are changing. The black and white horizon. I leave the quiet redstone and walk across the rooftop. I walk across the rooftop.
You know, one thing I appreciate about this track is that it takes a genre that at this time is somewhat predictable, right? It's taking synth pop, elements of that, art pop, and a little bit of that new romantic kind of flair. And what I appreciate is that they're making this a little more unpredictable than perhaps some of their partners in crime in the genre at the time. Paul Buchanan, he has that new romantic voice, and yet he uses it with a certain abstractness in music like this. The band as a whole takes this synthy poppy music and kind of obstructs it a little bit. They change it a little bit. And in that way, creatively, what did I just say? It reminds me a little bit of Scott Walker, someone who took a genre of music and really changed it to fit who they were. Changed the genre for themselves and how they would interpret it. And that's the same feeling I hear when I listen to this from the Blue Nile or just Paul Buchanan in general, is that they take that genre and they morph it into a type of music that suits them and explains how they are, who they are, and creates creatively what they want to get out. I mean, you have the kind of unstable rhythm that's being played throughout here. It's kind of stark in its contrasting nature. The bass, when it does come out, it's like really, really at the forefront. You can't help but hear it, and it's extremely strong. The whole song kind of has a little bit of a dark monochromatic scheme, which he kind of describing the city and the setting, but then he also mentions things that perhaps light up the way. He mentions traffic lights, and you can imagine kind of like an urban light sprawling across the city, sprawling across the rooftops, the moon, of course, but you have skyscrapers around, and he's just trying to reach out to his love. Very lonesome horn that starts off the track and also ends it later on. You have some kind of shuffling metallic noises here. And like I said, the drums come in at a very inopportune time. You wouldn't expect them, at least I wouldn't expect them right there on a first listen. And a lot of the music actually comes in that way, whether it is the drums, whether it's the bass, whether it's something else. They sometimes come in at just the wrong time. You have that synth violin that keeps on playing, once again adding a very sharp sound to this. And in music like this, where you do have those sharp sounds, for me, I would look towards the vocals and perhaps the bass to find that warmth, to find that comfort. But even though there's a little bit of it here, I feel like this is kind of a cold, romantic, but perhaps hopeless romantic kind of sound that they're going for here. That's so cool. That's almost Peter Gabriel-ish, what he's doing right here. I wonder if Peter Gabriel's a big inspiration to Paul Buchanan. I never really thought about that before, but now that I'm listening, they do sound somewhat similar. That's cool. And I think that Paul's voice also has a somewhat fragile quality to it. It's not as rounded out, perhaps, as some of his peers, which I think adds to the personality of the band and of Paul himself. And I mean this in a good way. It doesn't sound as well-rounded. I mean, it sounds a little thin, but I think that adds to the sense of hopeless romantic that at least I hear when I hear this. I thought this was fantastic. Let's go ahead and talk about the lyrics, though. I walk across the rooftops, I follow a broken thread of white rags falling slowly down, flags caught on the fences. I'm in love with you, I'm in love with you. I walk across the rooftops, the jangle of St. Stephen's bells, the telephones that ring all night incommunicado. The traffic lights are changing the black and white horizon. I leave the quiet redstone and walk across the rooftops. He really does describe the imagery of walking across the rooftops. In the first lines there, he says, I follow a broken thread of white rags falling slowly down. I think of a laundry line, between buildings in a city, and he's following that. Now, do I see him cartoonishly tiptoeing across the line, walking across it to reach the other rooftop? Kind of. Do I perhaps see the white rags as a form of surrender? This person's ready to accept him romantically, and now he's walking across the rooftops to go to her or him? Maybe. As he's walking across, he hears the telephones that ring all night, so he sees and hears other perhaps romantic interest around him. Just like in other couples, he sees it and he hears it. He's just walking across the rooftops for some love, man. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought of the track. Thank you as always so much for being here. I hope that you enjoyed the video. You can follow me in a bunch of places. You can do this, you can do that, but I do hope that you sat down, stayed around town, and enjoyed what I just put down. Come back tomorrow. I'll see you then, guys. Bye.